Hello, guys. What's up? Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast, lovealadijonnaise. This is Sam and Feli. We are incredibly but super happy for being here once again on another weekend. And we're going to introduce the person that is on the other side of the world. Sam, welcome, and how are you?
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depends from where you're listening. I'm fine. How are you, my love, today?
I'm fine, thank you. Very excited for something that is coming, but we're not gonna say anything yet. But yeah, in general, I'm very happy and excited.
Yeah, me too. Especially for that thing that is coming. But yeah, let's just let them wait. They're gonna find out on time.
You're gonna find out on time, guys. And well, today's topic is actually, I think I've already realized by now when I'm editing all the podcasts that every time I say that today's topic is very interesting, but it's true. The thing is, like, all topics are interesting. But today we are gonna talk about the real struggle and issue that comes, when you have a long distance couple, and that's saving money and visiting each other, which is a real challenge.
Yeah, guys, believe me, it's a real challenge. If you're 20, well, now we're 24, but we started dating when we were 21?
I'm 23, by the way.
In a month, you're gonna be 24. Stop.
But yeah, we started dating when we were, Sam was 21, I was 20.
You always have to point out that I was 21 and you were 20. Okay, doesn't matter. When we were in our early 20s, it's so hard to, when you're still a student and you don't have a fixed job and a stable job and salary, to save money and visit your couple that lives 10,000 kilometers away, because let me tell you, flights are not that cheap.
No, they're very expensive. And also have in mind what Sam is saying. We were we're still very young, but the thing is, early 20s, neither Sam or me had a job. We both were studying. We were, doing our lives basically in studying. I had worked for a while, but by myself, because the thing is, when I went to Dijon for the exchange, I wanted to stay in Europe for a bit more, to travel around. And I worked as a private teacher of French and English. But it was one of those spontaneous jobs that I can do. But a real job, neither Sam nor me had it. So, of course, that tends to be super hard. Also, when you are talking about flights of 1,000 euros, which is 1,000 something dollars. So it's not easy at all. And we started struggling a lot. We needed to commit a lot with the relationship, and especially we needed to sacrifice a couple of things. But let's start with the question, how do we save money? And how do you save money if you are in one of those situations that you are in a long distance relationship?
Well, you actually started with it saying that even before Dijon, you worked as a private teacher giving classes, of English and French, and you had a bit of money saved already. And with me, and also another thing before I start, we started dating after our exchange, so we didn't have money left because France is expensive. We spend basically most of our money on our exchange, and then it was so hard to save money. But anyways, me, after I came from exchange, and we got together, we became a couple. I looked for a student job. I worked in H&M. Everyone knows H&M. And actually, I have to say they give a good salary for a student job. I mean, of course, you work a lot, afternoons or mornings, depends. But I saved enough money to go and visit you in September of 2018, and then again in February of 2019. I had a decent salary for a student job.
But super decent, if you ask me. Literally here, a student job, you went to visit me, because I remember you got the job, I came back in June. I think you got the job in July. more or less.
Yeah, in
So
summer.
have in mind that in 2 months, because you booked your flight in August, have in mind in 2 months you got enough money to go and visiting me. Something that, of course, here in Mexico, because of the low salaries and everything, is impossible. It's basically impossible. But very good job, actually, and very good salary for a student. Although I need to be honest that, guys, these student jobs are very tiring. I remember you used to come back to the house almost
my
at
God,
midnight,
yes.
super tired, and actually it was a hard period of time, because I remember like we started struggling with times, because of course we didn't know how to deal with the time difference, and also you were working at the time I was free, and I was at school at the time you were free. So that was super hard.
Because, like, the thing is, in the beginning, they used to put me mostly in the afternoon. There I mean, with us, before Corona, of course, stores were open from Monday to Sunday. And from those 7 days, I was working 2 in the morning, 4 in the afternoon, and then 1 again in the morning, and it was so hard, as Felipe said, because we didn't know how to manage our times, because it was new to us, and time difference and all those things. And have in mind, in summer, people have time. They always go shopping in the afternoon, and also there's a lot of sales, and that's why we were staying late, to finish cleaning the whole store and putting clothes away and counting the money and all those things. And then I had to drive for 20 minutes to my house, and that's why I came home at midnight. So yeah.
It was super tiring. I remember you were always tired, but that's the thing. Like, as we always say, if you want to have something done, you need to do a sacrifice. You need to do an effort, and yeah, always you're gonna have to try to do your best. And I really appreciate what Sam did, because literally I remember seeing her very tired in the night, and then also she used to wake up super early in the morning. I was not even I remember I was finishing my dinner and Sam was texting me already, and it was like 5 a.m. with her. And
Yeah, but
yeah.
Yeah, that's when I used to go to work in the morning, because we used to start at 6, but as a normal human, I want to wake up, have breakfast, and then leave. That's why I used to wake up at 5 a.m. or like 4:30. But yeah, as he said, I used to be very tired. I sacrificed my sleep, because whenever I worked in the afternoon, I had school in the morning, and it was reverse. Like, I worked in the morning, and sometimes I had school in the afternoon. So yeah, but it was worth it.
No, it was completely
so
worth it.
I could go and see you.
The first time that she came, we were super happy. Also, the second time, I remember she came. She stood a bit longer. I think like for 3 weeks, because the first time she came was only 2 weeks. Then the second time 3 weeks, and then we started like staying longer and longer and longer. But as you can see, guys, not even like I was like, it's unbelievable how literally you can see the difference of salaries between countries. Because, for example, she had a student job, and she could come and see me twice in less than half a year.
Yes.
And
Yes.
me, I needed to work for a year in order to go and see her. I mean,
To see me once.
Yeah, to see her once. Because I remember like that once that I went to see her was on July 2019. And have in mind, I started saving money on July 2018. So basically it took me 1 year to go and see you only once. And
oh my God.
yeah, I remember I came back to give classes, French, English classes. I started having more students. I remember I used to stay with a couple of friends from university after classes for like 2 hours more. We used to go to but by that time I was part of the student council for my major. And I remember we had a tiny, really cute, but super tiny office in the business school. And I remember I used to tell my friends, like, okay, guys, we see at the tiny student council, and at the business school of my university, it's basically another building from my university. and we have class. I used to teach them French. Also, then I used to go back to my house, have my lunch, talk to Sam, and then I used to go then out again because I was giving French classes to two of my friends from high school, and we used to meet on Starbucks. And then on Saturdays again, I used to see another friend, and I got money from that because by that moment I didn't have another job. That was the only thing I had. The private classes of French and English, and yeah, it took me basically a year to go and see her, and I stood for what, like 3 weeks and a
3 weeks,
half, more or
yeah.
less. Yeah.
No, and I feel like it's harder to get job in Mexico in general than in Slovenia or Europe. But imagine a student job, It's so hard to get a student job. Yeah, it took you, as you said, a year. And it wasn't like even a student job that you apply and go to a company or whatever. You were giving classes to your friends, which at the end of the day was a job, but it's so different. Because with me, I just opened my laptop and searched for student job, and that's it. And I got a decent salary. Whereas with you, it's so different.
No, it's different. It's hard, and also the types of job that you can find. Because usually here, student jobs, you are paid maximum for those of Europe that you're listening to us, maximum 200 euros per month. 200
month.
euros per month, which is nothing. And for you guys, because I know that we have people, basically friends in the US and Canada that are listening to us, it's basically you were working 8 hours per every 6 days, like seriously, 6 days a week, 8 hours every day for a whole month, and you get $180 more or less. So it's
Oh my
nothing,
God.
basically nothing. So
No.
it's very different, but it's part of everything, and we also think that this is part of motivation because it's very but seriously important in a long distance relationship that you have always, or at least you try to have always, a date that you're gonna see each other. I think this one we already said when we were talking about motivation. You can go to Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube to listen to that episode that it's basically about motivation. But the thing is that it's very important that you always have a specific day that you might see each other, because that's the only thing that is going to keep you motivated. And this, of course, keeps you motivated to save money and save money and save money.
Yeah, and as you said, it's gonna keep you motivated to save money and plan your next trip. And that's what we're gonna talk about now: how we actually plan our next trip and how we decided who's gonna travel on what times. Like as we said, the first time it was me, the one who traveled twice, because yeah, I was able to, but then after the second time it was okay, one time you go and the other time I go. And that's how we planned our big trips, flying overseas, in like a couple of months in between, if we don't count coronavirus. Okay, 2020, no.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, excepting coronavirus, we established that it shouldn't pass more than 7 months. Being apart, like maximum 7 months being apart, and that's it. We needed to travel. We have like the magic 4, and it means that every 4 months we should be seeing each other, which sometimes is hard. Again, guys, except coronavirus, because coronavirus changed everything. We told you we've been almost 11 months apart, but the thing is like before coronavirus, we used to see each other more or less like every 4 months. That's how we were working. And then we established that if things that, because also we saw, and this is related to another part of the script that we have, that we saw that every time, as time was passing, it was becoming harder and harder. Why? Because we were getting more responsibilities, we were getting busy with things, we were getting very close to our graduations and everything. I got a job, and it started being harder and harder because we had more responsibilities, and we said, okay, so the relationship is coming harder, so we need to really plan how we're going to be visiting each other. And we said, okay, shouldn't pass more than 7 months. the ideal will be between 4 and 5 months, but no more than 7. Of course, coronavirus arrived. We weren't expecting that, and here we are, 11
Oh
months
my god,
after.
yeah.
But that's what we suggest you. Like basically, have like a specific date that you say, okay, so if we met in July, okay, that means that maybe we're gonna meet in October, November, if not until December. But you should always try to have like a date that you are like, okay, most likely here we're gonna see each
Yeah,
other.
and also what we tend to do is we start looking already for flights while we are together, you know, and just to see prices, just to know how much to spend. And if we see a really good deal, we book the flight and that's it, you know. Or we wait a couple of weeks and then book the flight so we have the date ready and we're like, okay, once I leave or Felipe leaves back to Mexico, we know when is the next time we're gonna see each other because we already have a date.
Exactly. I remember like when I went to see Sam. Sam and me, she was here in Mexico. We were in her room, and I remember we were watching videos or a movie. I don't know, but we
Yeah.
were watching something. And the thing, and that's what I'm telling you. Maybe it was a movie or series, or I don't know. And I was like, it was late in the night. It was like 12, and I remember I told her, you know what, I'm gonna check for flights, but guys, randomly. I got a super deal. I saw literally it was a round trip to Europe for, I don't know, it was like 500 euros, something like that. And I was like, babe, look at this. I was so sorry, but I came upstairs to wake my parents up and tell them that I was going to Europe. And the thing is, like, I don't have a credit card, so I needed a credit card, you know. But the thing is, like, guys, I don't have a credit card, so I needed to ask them for the credit card, and I was so sorry. But yeah, I woke them up. I booked my flight. But those are the things, you know. Like whenever you have deals, you need to use them, and yeah, that's an example that we were together and we already had a specific day that we were gonna see each other.
Yeah, because if you see a good deal for a flight, guys, don't lose it. Doesn't matter if you like travel domestically for a holiday. Just, you book your flight because later you're gonna regret that you didn't book that flight, you know. And I also have a story. I was um I was in Croatia visiting my cousin in Rovinj. That's a pretty city at the seaside, and I was there with her hanging out for the whole day because it's really close. It's like an hour and a half, more or less, maybe a bit more from my house. So I went for a day trip alone, and we were hanging out and everything the whole day. And when I was about to leave home, back home, I was like, okay, let me check how much are flights from, like you know, from Slovenia to Mexico. And I was booking this flight for February 2020, you know, before coronavirus. And I checked on my phone and everything, and I had a really good deal. And there you have me booking a flight on my tiny phone. I mean, it's not tiny, but on my phone. And thanks God I had my passport number, my card, and everything. I could book it. But yeah, I didn't want to lose good deal because it was cheap, so I booked it over my phone.
Yeah, of opportunities they come and go. So if you have an opportunity, don't hesitate on taking it, especially with flights, guys. Believe us. I remember also, well, with this example, but the one that when I went to see you, that we checked the next day. You remember, and the same flight, seriously, the same flight, same seat, and everything. It was more than 1,500 euros. This literally the same flight. So opportunities coming and go. So just take them. But you see, guys, it's very important that you always sacrifice something. You're gonna have to sacrifice something. You're gonna have to make your schedules to match, which is something actually very hard. Making like both schedules to match is incredibly hard, but not impossible. So you can do it. There's always a possibility that people, you know, that people that tells you, oh no, it's just like I'm too busy, I don't know, doing whatever. Come on. Like literally, you should have time, and it's always possible. So try to match your schedules and everything. And also something that we wanted to say, because I mean we were talking. It was a nice example, very funny. I was telling her that sometimes some people they got to tell me, because the thing is like it's been already a couple of times that I say, oh, you know what, I don't have money, that to some invitations or to some plans or something, and I say sometimes, you know what, I don't have money. And then some people they used to tell me about how is it possible that you don't have money, and I was like, dude, I don't have money. And then they say, but you work, and I was like, yeah, I know. And then they say like, but how is it possible that you don't have money? And I was like, well, I have a girlfriend. And they're like, but no, come on, that doesn't count. And I was like, how does that doesn't count? And they're like, no, because you don't spend money like we do with couples. And I was like, why? They say, oh, because you don't go to the cinema, you don't go to restaurants really often, you don't have to take them, I don't know where, and we're like hanging out. And I was like, yeah, dude, but I'm spending in a day what you spend in 6 weeks.
Yes.
Literally for a round trip flight. So yeah, always guys, like whenever you know about someone that is in a long distance relationship, just understand that this person most part of the times is gonna tell you maybe I don't have money, or it's gonna tend to spend a bit. Why? Because it's part of the sacrifice. Sam and we have lots of examples. We could tell you lots of them where we've been wishing, craving something, and we just don't buy it because we know, like, even though we have the money, we know we shouldn't, because if we do, then that means that it's gonna take a bit more for us to see each other.
Yeah, I agree with what you said, and I mean it's 100% true, because it's always, oh, I would like to buy myself this or that, or if your friends tell you, okay, let's go to like for a trip over a weekend or something, I don't have money. But how not? Because I'm saving it on my flight, because yeah. And also, as you said, we sacrifice things we want to buy ourselves in order to have money to book the big flight, but also to plan trips that we take whenever we are together, And if we want to fly, well, in Slovenia you can fly domestically because you drive everywhere, but in Mexico, for example,
It's so big.
Yeah, and that's why we have to sacrifice, I don't know, new shoes, new watch, clothes, I don't know what, in order to save money for our trips and for the big, trip overseas. But it's worth it at the end.
It's worth it, and seriously completely worth it. But I mean, you maybe say, oh, but those are stupid things, things that don't have value, like literally unvaluable things that like clothes and jewelry and those things that they're material. Yes, but at the end of the day, we all have cravings, guys, and we all go to stores and we say, oh my god, like seriously, like that thing, or I wish I could have one of those. And the thing is, like, we see our wallets, we see our cards, and we're like, god damn, I have money, I have enough money for this. But you say, you know what, no, because I need to book the flight, we are traveling, I don't know where. And the thing is, like, yeah, it's not only the trip, not only the flight to go and see the person, which is already very expensive, but to have in mind, we also have trips, we travel together wherever we go. And of course that costs money because it's gasoline. Also it is like other plane tickets, train tickets, for example, in Europe, food, everything, seriously, everything. So yeah, you need to understand that. But I think, like, well, we think that the most important part of this episode is to make you see that everything's possible, that basically all plans are possible, but they have the right time to become real, and you have to work very hard for them. You need to understand that you need to have priorities, and that always, but seriously always, you will have to make sacrifices. Okay, always there's going to be a sacrifice that you're going to have to choose between two things. Okay, but believe us that it's going to be completely worth it, and that's the most important part.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. And as you said, at the end it's going to be worth it, because if you think about what you're going to sacrifice for that one thing, that is gonna make you super happy or whatever is gonna make you feel great, you only think about this thing, and then you're like, okay, I can sacrifice those things that are not important in order to achieve the goal I have. And that's important. That's the mindset you should have.
Exactly, that's the mindset you should have. And well, guys, basically that's what we had prepared for this week. We hope that you enjoy a lot this episode, that you found really useful information, and maybe that you find that you found some advices, tips for your relationships or for whatever plan you can use. Like literally, this doesn't have to be only for relationships. Maybe you have a project and you have to sacrifice money and cravings and stuff because of your project. So we hope you liked it.
Yes, it can be literally for whatever. That's just our example, how we sacrifice some things in order to visit each other and go on trips together. But as Felipe said, it can be for whatever. So yeah. And yeah, that was it for today. And as usual, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and on YouTube, and on our Instagram page at lovealadijonnaise podcast.
Have an amazing weekend, guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye.